Okay, Joe Pullman, craftworking.net here. In this video, I'm going to kind of deviate a little bit and talk about the IPv6 and kind of some history and some more of a story than anything else, but it kind of goes hand in hand with this whole AT&T Fiasco thing that I'm currently doing. So, several years ago, when I was starting to investigate and learn IPv6. One of the first things I learned after I set up learning how to do it through reading books and videos and that sort of thing. And first of all, why do you have so much space, and how it's why would you want it, and why would you use it? And back then, IPv6 was kind of a new thing, even though it's been ratified and standardized for quite some time now, but it's very slow to adopt. But anyway, so I learned about it, and in my research and in my study, looking around at things, I discovered how do I do this? How do I employ this in my life? Not so much to actually convert from V4 to V6, but kind of experiment, see what it's all about, see how it can be useful to me, and maybe get on IPv6google.com, even though there's not a lot up there right now. But in any case, so I've looked around and I found out through some web searching that there's a organization, a company that specializes in IPv6, and there's a few of them out there, and they're called brokerage houses actually. And what they do is they broker IPv6 address space. Now, good thing is that because there's so much address space out there for IPv6, very little thought has gone into how to charge for this stuff. The smallest block you can get is a /64, which is on order several times more than a MAC address space, and those are unique throughout the world. So you can't just say, I'm going to get a block of /24 and spend $1,000 a month or whatever it is from the internet services provider. And, but if you have a bazillion addresses, how do you charge for that? So not a whole lot of thought has gone into it. Anyway, looking around, there's this organization or company called Hurricane Electric, and they actually are a brokerage house for IPv6 space, and they have their own address range, and what they do is they just give this stuff out. This is kind of nice to use, because you can get publicly routed IP space and not spend anything. This also coincides with something called the tunnel broker, which is how you get to these addresses. But in any case, Hurricane Electric, what they'll do is when you sign up for these, and it's all free, is they will allocate a /64 to you. Actually, two of them. One /64 is the network to get to them, and the other one is for you to use, and it's basically one /64 subnet that you can put on your computers and get onto the IPv6 internet. The other thing, what they can do is there's a little checkbox when you go onto this website, is they'll actually allocate a /48. What this is 65,000 routable, globally unique IPv6 networks. This is way overkill for most of you, but hey, it's free. They'll give you a /48. They'll give you two /64s, and it's all free. So what this allows you to do is basically experiment and set up your own IPv6 network, even though that most of it's not ever going to be used, but there's enough IPv6 space, who cares? So now to the tunnel broker. The tunnel broker is the mechanism on how to get to the IPv6 internet. What it is, it's a tunnel. It's a V6 and V4 tunnel, that you set up, and this is so easy to use. It's awesome, because what you do is it's tied to your Hurricane Electric account. So what you do is you can click on it, and what it'll do is give you configurations for your Mac, your PC, your routers, mainly Cisco. And what it does is it looks at what IP address range they give you, and it will generate a config for your router. Very nice. So I set this up, got a /48, got my 64 is good to go, hooked it up to my router. This was way back before I started virtualizing everything. It worked great. I mean, I was up in minutes, and my tunnel came up, and I set up some IPv4 6 addresses on my computer, my laptop, and I was surfing the IPv6 internet, and they were all globally unique, and I could even get back to my network from the outside world because these are globally unique address space, so it's all routable. The 40/48 is routable, the 64 is routable. So, and then you go into your DNS and set up what's called a quad A record. Basically, it's a 128 version of the v4, so A record for v4, quad A for v6. And then you can basically route, do a DNS lookup. So you're in Starbucks or something, or your friend's house, and you can go to your domain, in the subdomain that you set up for IPv6, and you're actually connected to your internal network. But you want to make sure your firewalling is capable of doing this as well. But anyway, way back when, I was with AT&T, and at that time they did not block the protocol or the traffic, the tunnel traffic to the internet, so it worked. And it worked for quite some time. And then a few years ago, I tried to use it, and it didn't work. It's like, what's going on? So I did some web searching and found out everybody's having this problem with AT&T. And what come to find out that they did a flash upgrade on their modems to block this. And we all called in AT&T, going, what the hell's going on? And they basically said, oh, it's a security issue, and we don't allow that anymore. So we all lost connectivity to Hurricane Electric, or any tunnel broker for that matter, but Hurricane Electric seems to be the most popular. And we were dead. I mean, there's nothing we could do. And so this went on for years. It's still broken. If you try to do a tunnel to Hurricane Electric or any tunnel broker, it uses something called Protocol 41, and it's the IPv6 IP tunnel, and you'll never connect. Your tunnel will come up, but basically you'll never get out to the gateway. So, and I kind of gave up at that point, but now in comes the AT&T Fiasco. And after looking at this and buying my private public IP space, and I didn't think of it, and I set this up, and I said, just for the, does it work? And so I set up the tunnel and set up the on the new firewall setup, and lo and behold, it worked. Okay, I'm back on. Not a lot of people know about this. Kind of keep it quiet. If all of a sudden AT&T finds out that you can get to your IPv6 network through a tunnel using basically a public IP space, you'll probably freak them out and wig, and they'll probably block that too. But as of right now, AT&T does not block tunneling on public space. So if you really want to work this and get IPv6 and use Hurricane Electric and a tunnel broker, get some IP public space, and it'll start to work for you. Not a lot of people know about this, but in any case, what they'll want to do is, if you start talking IPv6 with AT&T, first thing you'll notice is they've never heard of IPv6 before. Then if you talk to Tier 3, they'll say, yes, the latest modems that you get from AT&T will support IPv6. I tried this. This is kind of interesting. What it does is it turns it on, full NAT, full DHCP on IPv6. What they'll do is they'll start routing 2600 address space to you, and it's all dynamic. So it'll work. I mean, you turn it on, you configure your VMs or your computers to run IPv6, and you'll notice you'll get a flood of IPv6 addresses, 2600s. But you will be able to surf the net on IPv6. Problem is it's dynamic. You can't put in a static, and none of it's routable. So you're going to not be able to set up your own private IPv6 network and do a full configuration. You could do site scopes. You can do local scopes, that sort of thing. But since it's dynamic on the modem, you don't know what addresses you're going to have. So in your Dyn DNS, I don't think will handle the IPv6 dynamic change, let alone your DNS server. So really, you don't want to go that route. You want to basically go with Tunnel Broker. They'll give you globally unique public space. This is the one I've got from Hurricane Electric is mine. It's routed to me. It's very reliable. And once it's set up, everything is routed to it, so there's no issues with trying to do NAT through it. NAT 64, I'll get into in subsequent detail in depth, but it's right now I've got everything dual stacked, and I'm wanting to get off of that. So I want to go IPv6 only, but that's in a later video. But anyway, that's just giving you an idea of IPv6. And then my setup was a Cisco gear with the latest code. IPv6 is fully supported on my particular topology. Your topology may be slightly different. It's, again, do the research and see what you can and cannot do with your particular setup. It's, you want to kind of get familiar with IPv6. It will be here eventually. Currently AT&T it does support it. Verizon, I don't think so yet. I'm not sure about them. Time Warner, I don't think so. But and your mobile providers, not yet. I'm with one provider that just does not support it. They do support it on the Androids just recently, however, iPhone. So, and they don't support the iPhone yet, and hopefully they will soon, because I can't use my mobile device to get to my IPv6 network. But after getting Hurricane Electric up and running, and the Tunnel Broker up and running, and the AT&T public space going, it's been very reliable and very robust, and so I'm fully on the IPv6 network now, but I'm dual stacked, and I'm working toward coming up with a plan to run native and IPv6 only infrastructure. Because the rest of the world is still on IPv4, there's some special considerations and special protocols involved and certain network topologies that you can put in. It will work. It's quite complicated and quite expensive, but I'm going to show you how to do it for next to nothing, because that's the way I'm going to do it. But if you were to do this, you're going to spend several $1,000s getting it to work, and the only thing you're going to do is lose your IPv4 IP addresses on your network, which is basically public space or private space anyway, so it's not really worth it. Only if you can do this for like $0, and I do have a way of doing that, and it will work. I just haven't implemented, but I'm going to once I get that up and running, I'm going to put together a series of videos on how to do it, because this particular technology called NAT64 and DNS64 is not well documented even on YouTube. there's a lot of videos on it, but they just, to me, they haven't explained it very well. They will, and if you use it, it just won't work right. So, but anyway, that's it for the IPv6 intro on the AT&T. This is one of the few parts that I'm kind of pleasantly surprised, even though that AT&T's knowledge of IPv6 is next to nothing. So, but anyway, that's it for here, and I think I'm going to end the series on this note because I want to get to some other projects and other things I'm doing. So I want to bring those up to you and go on with this. So, but anyway, that's it from here for the fiasco of AT&T. But it was very painful, but in the end I did get it to work, so it is possible to get something like this to work.